रामचंद्र रणधीर
रामचंद्र रघुवीर रामचंद्र रणधीर
रामचंद्र रघुवीर रामचंद्र रणधीर
रामचंद्र रघुवीर रामचंद्र रणधीर
रामचंद्र रघुराम रामचंद्र परमधाम
रामचंद्र रघुराम
रामचंद्र रघुराम रामचंद्र परमधाम
रामचंद्र रघुराम रामचंद्र परमधाम
रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ
रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ
रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ
रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ
रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र दया सिंधो
रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र मय सिंधो
रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र दया सिंधो
रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र दया सिंधो
रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा
रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा
रामचंद्र रघुरामा रामचंद्र परमधाम
रामचंद्र रघुराम रामचंद्र परमधाम
रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ
रामचंद्र रघुनाथ रामचंद्र जगन्नाथ
रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र दया सिंधो
रामचंद्र मम बंधो रामचंद्र दया सिंधो
रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा
रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा
रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा
रामचंद्र रघुवीरा रामचंद्र रणधीरा
सियावर रामचंद्र की
जय
पवन सुत हनुमान की उमापति महादेव की बोलो भाई सब संतन की। ओम सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांति। ओम श्री गणेशाय नमः। ओम श्री सरस्वत्यै नमः। ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। समस्त जन कल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं नीलाम्बुजश्यामलकोमलांगं सीतासमारोपितवामभागं पाणौ महासायकचारुचापं नमामि रामं रघुवंशनाथम् अतुलितबलधामं हेमशैलाभदेहं दनुजवनकृशानुं ज्ञानिनामग्रगण्यं सकलगुणनिधानं वानराणामधीशं रघुपतिप्रियभक्तं वातजातं नमामि। कूजन्तं राम रामेति मधुरं मधुराक्षरम् आरुह्य कविताशाखां वन्दे वाल्मीकिकोकिलम्। तपस्वाध्याय निरतं तपस्वी वाग्विदाम्बरं नारदं परिपप्रच्छ वाल्मीकिर्मुनिपुङ्गवम्। श्रीनाथे जानकीनाथे अभेद परमात्मनि तथापि मम सर्वस्वं राम कमललोचन। So we have completed Balakanda and we saw that 4 newly wedded couples are actually returning along with Dashrath Maharaj and all the queens Kausalya, Sumitra, Kaikeyi, and all of them very joyously are returning to Ayodhya. Many times people hear story of Ramayana, but they lose track of time. Not track of time while listening, but the track of lifespan of Sri Rama. So far also we have heard Ramayana story so many times. And you know what is going to happen next immediately? That he will be, decided as crown prince, and then Kaikeyi will. We know that. But according to Valmiki Ramayana, 12 years have passed. After all the four are married and they return to Ayodhya, 12 years they stay in Ayodhya as all four as Yuvarajas, and now their wives in their own palaces, etc. They spend 12 years. And after 12 years, when they are settled in their grihastha one day, Dasharath Maharaj desires to make Bhagavan Sri Rama, the eldest son, as Yuvaraja. That is the verse that we have seen. If you remember still that we are seeing Moola Ramayana, first chapter of Valmiki Ramayana. But because the story started from here, we saw in last two sessions the story which was not mentioned. Now we will continue. Verses 19, 20, 21, 22 we have already chanted. So we will just see. Tam evam guna sampannam Ramam satya parakramam jeshtham jeshtha gunair priyam dasharatha sutam prakritinam hitair prakriti priya kammeya yauvarajyena samyoktum aichat pritya mahipatihi. We had seen the meaning of this verse. Mahipatihi Dasharatha, the king Dasharatha, Aichat, desired. Desired what? Yauvarajyena samyoktum aichat. Desired to anoint Sri Rama as crowned prince. To appoint him as crowned prince. Who was Sri Rama? The one who was explained with all these different qualities, 67 qualities which we have seen. Who was Jeshtha, eldest. Jeshtha gunair yuktam, and not only eldest, he was ablest. That is very important. Many people, immediately they say that you see here also in the olden times, there was a, what do they say? Family politics. Family politics. That only in that family they will become king. No, not like that. Only if the person is able, capable, then only he will become king. If he is not, then he will not become king. Right? So here it is said that not just he was Jeshtha. That is not the only criteria. Jeshtha gunaihi yuktam. He was the ablest. Later on also we will see that different people are explaining to Sri Rama that time. Vasishtha Rishi says that it's not just we are asking you to become king because you are eldest, but there is nobody more capable than you to handle the kingdom. So Jeshtha gunair yuktam prakriti priya kammeya, with prakriti means prajanam hita kammeya, the desire to benefit the entire praja, entire capital, entire people. He desired, Dasharath Maharaj desired to crown him as prince. Now what happened? तस्याभिषेक संभारान् दृष्ट्वा भार्याथ कैकेयी पूर्वं दत्तवरा देवी वरमेन मया च विवासनं च रामस्य भरतस्याभिषेचनम्. But you plan something, Bhagavan's plan is something else only. Often Guruji says very beautifully, you propose something and he disposes. Why? Because what he wants will happen. So though Dasharath Maharaj desired, and very beautiful portion is there in Valmiki Ramayana where he has called for Sabha. And he tells that this is what is my desire. Sri Rama is not yet told. He tells to all the ministers that this is what is my desire. What each and every one of you think. And don't just say, yes, 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 we agree. Give reasons why you agree. It's very important for a leader. When you are taking a decision, when you have a team with you, you ask everybody's opinion and reason also. There will be many people who will say that, yes, 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 you are right. I support. Why are you supporting? That helps entire team to think independently. So here also Dasharath Maharaj asks all the ministers of the Sabha for reasons. Why do you think Sri Rama should become Yuvraj? And they all tell different reasons according to how they understand. And then Dashrath Maharaj says that, yes, now I think my decision is right. Then he calls Sri Rama and says that now you will be appointed as Yuvraj, soon, get ready. Then what happens? Sabha is dismissed, everything is over. By the time Dashrath Maharaj goes back to his palace, his room, he feels very anxious. So he calls Vasishtha Rishi again and says that I think I have taken a wrong decision. What wrong decision? He says I should not crown him as prince, should not make him Yuvraj. I should make him Raja. Why? Because I am old now. It's enough. What is the point? He already knows everything. It is not that I need to be there and then he will work under me for some time, then he will learn and then he will become king. Not required. Vasishtha Rishi says, whatever you say is right and you should crown him as king only directly. So then he calls Sri Rama again. In the evening, towards the night, calls him again and says that, tomorrow morning will be your Rajya Abhishek. You will be crowned as king. Then he gives list of instructions that he should do. Go back to your room, and today don't sleep on the bed, sleep on the ground, and as much as time as possible with your wife, please spend in worshipping. So Havana, etc. If whole night you can do, that will be very good, etc., etc. Different set of instructions are given, and he said, so Sri Rama says, whatever you say, I will follow. So he goes, and then the news spreads everywhere that Sri Rama is going to become king. And the most happy person in the whole kingdom is Kaikeyi. Many people don't know this. See, Kaikeyi's love for Sri Rama is unparalleled, actually speaking. It is said Kaikeyi came from Kekaya Desha, very prosperous kingdom. And they say when she was married, she was the youngest wife of Dashrath Maharaj. And so when she was married, her family members built golden palace in Ayodhya for her to stay. And it is said among all the palaces, all the queens and king and all the princes, everybody staying, the best one was Kaikeyi's. And when these people returned from Mithila, she gave this palace to Sita. Her own son is married, okay? Bharata is married at the same time, but she gave the palace to Sri Rama and Sita. So Kaikeyi's love for Sri Rama was a lot, and that's why Bharata also has that much love. It is Anuvamshika. It is genes. It's coming from genes, right? So Kaikeyi is very happy, and at that time enters who? Manthara. This Manthara is actually a servant lady who has come with Kaikeyi after Kaikeyi's marriage. So she is actually, you can say, Aya also. When Kaikeyi was small child in Kekaya Desha, she was the one who was taking care of Kaikeyi, and then after marriage she came with Kaikeyi to take care of her, continued to be there with her. She is very old, but only thinks about Kaikeyi. She doesn't think about anybody else. She doesn't love anybody else. She has only one place of what we say as loyalty, and that is with Kaikeyi. So when she hears that this is all happened, she says there is some problem. Why? Because at that point when this decision was taken, Bharata and Shatrughna are not in Ayodhya. Bharata and Shatrughna have actually gone to Kekaya Desha, to their mama's place. Kekaya Desha is very far. Burma, Madesha, etc. Towards that side. So it's very far from Ayodhya. So they have gone there, and she starts to suspect that why such a decision in so much of hurry? What is the hurry? Next day should be crowned as king. Why? There's something that they are conspiring. This Dashrath Maharaj and Kausalya, some conspiracy is going on. Otherwise, you see, you can announce and wait for all the sons to be there and then crown. What is so much of hurry? So she goes and asks Kaikeyi. Kaikeyi is happy, and the moment she sees Manthara, she hugs her and they says, "You take whatever you want. Why? My son is going to become king." She says, "No, your son is not going to become king." Kaikeyi says, "What are you saying? We just heard the news. Rama is going to become king." She says, "Rama is not your son. Bharata is your son." Kaikeyi says, "What are you talking? It is one and the same." Oh, Rama is as much my son as much as Kausalya's, because it's Putra Kameshti Yaga, that Payasam only, so much of love I have. But Manthara has series of arguments, and she starts to poison Kaikeyi's mind. She says, "You see, you are not understanding why such decision is being taken when Bharata is not here. You don't understand that when Sri Rama will become king, Sri Rama's sons will become future king, their sons and their sons. Your sons, your son and grandsons will never get crown." Kaikeyi says, "Let them not get. So what? Sri Rama is going to become king. No, there is nothing better." Then Manthara also understands that this type of argument won't work. So comparing between Sri Rama and Bharata won't work. So she starts comparing between Kausalya and her. She says, "You see, you are not understanding. When Sri Rama will become the king, Kausalya will be king's mother. She will get more power than you. And you know, from the beginning, Kausalya is very much jealous of you. Why? You are the youngest. You are the dearest of Dasharath Maharaj. So this is the plan of Kausalya to gain all the power." Kaikeyi, you are not understanding. This is all for your fall. Tomorrow we don't know. Sri Rama will become king. He will put Bharata in prison. He will put you in prison. He may send you back. You never know what is going to happen. Don't fall for this. Now, a woman's mind. Love for son is at the top, but jealousy for co-wife is above it. So the moment this is heard, Kaikeyi's mind gets corrupted. And she understands that, oh, what Manthara is saying is right. And you see now what happens? She asks Manthara, "Oh, now you are the only friend that I have. You are only thinking about my benefit. Nobody else is. Please tell me what I should do." Manthara, long back, Dasharath Maharaj has given two boons to you. You remember when Dasharath Maharaj came to your city to fight, and when he was fighting, he was wounded, and you drove the chariot and you took him away from the battlefield and you saved his life, and therefore he gave two boons to you. It is time to use these two boons. And what two boons you should ask? Vivasanam cha Ramasya Bharatachanam. That Rama should go to forest and Bharata should be crowned as king. Actually, later on we will see that these two boons are other way around. Bharata should be crowned as king and then Sri Rama should go to forest. These are in this order she has asked. Here the order is a little different. Maybe because of some reason. Right? So these are the two boons. So when Manthara explains everything, and we will see Babare in Valmiki Ramayana, Manthara actually demonstrates the entire scene that is going to happen. That what you should do, you should go to this. In the olden days, there was a separate room called Kopagara or Kopagraha. Very interesting. We should have it, actually, I'm telling you. Whoever is angry goes to that room, so that everybody knows that they are angry. Very easy, I tell you, especially for married couples, etc. It's very, when you are planning for your building next house, no, please think of this Kopagara. Very interesting thing. Why? Because now many times what happens, husbands don't understand that wife is angry. I don't have any experience, but I'm seeing other people, and therefore I'm saying this, isn't it? And then wife has to tell, "Oh, Then he understands, oh, something is wrong. Now he starts thinking, what did I do from morning? What was the place? What made anything possible? No. So when Kaikeyi enters into that Kopagara, Dashrath Maharaj also understands that something has happened. Now he also starts reflecting, what did I do? Maybe she is angry because I didn't tell her first about crowning, Sri Rama as king. Maybe that's why. So he goes with that thought that she is angry because I didn't tell her first. And he goes there and starts to ask, what happened? Why are you and Kaikeyi is without any ornaments and just sitting there with hair open and, very, very sad mood and ready for emotional blackmail. Everything is already planned. And actually, Mantra has told that you go here and then Maharaj will come there and he will say this, but you don't fall for it. You should say this. And the entire scenario she has already told. And then at what time you should ask for a boon and how you should not, what we say, listen to whatever argument she is giving. Just don't reply to any argument. Don't get into argument. Just stick to your, whatever argument she says, you say, I want 2 boons. Don't fight. Don't argue. Just stick to your boon. So she does exactly like that. And Dashrath Maharaj, Baap re Baap. Dashrath Maharaj is completely shattered. Why? So never in his mind he has thought that Kaikeyi can behave like this. Because dearest wife, he knows how much love she has for Sri Rama. He is not even imagined that something like this can happen. And now she is so adamant that she wants this. He becomes so angry. He starts shouting at her, starts to cry, pleads. So many different ways Dashrath Maharaj tries. But Kaikeyi is not going to listen. She sticks to her point and says that, no, I want 2 boons. These are the 2 boons. He says, you are not a wife. You are a demoness. You are not Patni. You are a Rakshasi. Who is, so far, you are behaving as though you are my wife. You are not. But she still does not listen. And she continues to tell him that this is what I want. So actually what happens is, Dashrath Maharaj is in so much of sorrow that he faints. And it is almost morning, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. So whole night, this whole thing was going on. And Kaikeyi calls Sumantra. Sumantra is Dashrath Maharaj's charioteer and also Mantri, minister. She calls Sumantra and says that please call Sri Rama here now. So he says, I don't take orders from others. I will take order from king. She says, no, king is sleeping because of the stress of coronation. So you get Sri Rama here. So he sees there that he's actually lying down. So he says, maybe okay, get Sri Rama, morning. Now Sri Rama also doesn't know why father has called early in the morning, and that also in Kopagara, not in his room. But Sri Rama goes there, and Bhagavan is unbelievable. Just imagine for a moment. One day you are told that you are going to become king. Next day morning you are told that you are not going to become king. You are not even going to stay in the kingdom. You are going to go to forest. How we will feel? So this is where Bhagavan's greatness comes. As much controlled he was when he listened that he is going to become king, so much stable he is when he listens that he has to go to forest. Because he was not overjoyed in the previous situation, he is not in sorrow in the next situation. On the contrary, he says to Kaikeyi that, did I do anything wrong? Don't you have faith in me? Why did you waste your 2 boons on this? You could have just told me, I would have gone to forest. So look at this. He's telling to Kaikeyi, why? Don't you have faith in me that you think that I will do anything against your will? Why did you give so much of pain to my father that now he has to take decision and he will consider him to be responsible for this situation? You could have just told me. I could have left even before the morning. I could have left for forest and Bharata would have become king. So he is actually sad, not because he has to go to forest, but because of how the things have turned out. And Dashrath Maharaj has come to consciousness, just before Sri Rama comes. After listening to this, he again falls. Because he says, what kind of son I have got? And I have to take decision of sending him to forest? What? Misery. He's actually telling Sumantra, how I wish that Sri Rama will not listen to me, will go against me and become king. But he says that, but I know him. He won't do anything like that. When the son is too good, these are the problems that you face. Sri Rama says, Kaikeyi, Mata, please don't worry. I will not do anything against your will. I will follow father's words. I will go to forest right away. He goes. Now Lakshmana, Kausalya, Sita ji, all of them are waiting. Why? Because suddenly he's called, they don't know what is happening. And they are also overjoyed. And it is beautifully explained that when Sri Rama is walking back, all the preparations are going on because people don't know. So they are bringing this Ganga ji's water and all the Sapta Sindhu and everything. They are preparing and the people are so happy. They are decorating because suddenly, it was decided overnight. So they are still a whole night, they have not slept and they are decorating. And suddenly Sri Rama walks into Kausalya ji's room and Kausalya ji's made special seat for him. Says that, please come and sit here. Now onwards, you are king. So I thought, I should have a separate asana for you, even in my room. And Sri Rama very quietly says that this asana is too high for me. I should sit on ground. That's how Valmiki Ramayana explains. And he says that this is what is now the decision. I have to go to forest. In Tulsi Ramayana, the prasanga is even more beautiful. In Tulsi Ramayana, when Sri Rama goes to Kausalya ji, he speaks in a very different way. He says that, oh my mother, he is in a very happy mood. And when Kausalya welcomes, saying that now the future king has come, he says, yes, my mother, you are right. Why? Because father has given me kingdom of the forest. Pita Deenamoy Kanana Raju, he says. You are right, but Ayodhya is too small. He has given me kingdom of the entire forest, right from Dandakaranya up to south. Entire forest is now going to be under my rule. So you see how to turn situations for our benefit, in the sense that you don't get bogged down by the situations, but you face them and face them happily, not crying. Here, one day food is little bit down and then our ability is gone. Isn't it? You see, one day he still remains stable. Does not even say to Kausalya and say, hey, your husband has gone mad, man. Go and talk to him. He is fallen for that other wife, not listening. Who does like that? Go and talk. Nothing like this. Sri Rama is at different level only altogether. And he says, oh mother, please give me permission to go. But listening to this, Kausalya Mata falls. And she says that why I did not die before listening to something like this. Why? How can I remain alive listening to this? I should have died. And I am not dead means I am not that good. I am not that good a mother. That's why I have not died. Now Lakshmana, a different mood. He says nothing doing. You are not going anywhere. You are going to become king. If you want to follow father's words, you follow. I will not follow. I will make sure that you become king. If Bharata wants to become king, before he enters Ayodhya, I will kill him. If he wants to go against you, nobody can stop you from becoming king. Sri Rama says, Lakshmana, your love for me is speaking, not dharma. It's not right to think about anything other than what our father has said, I should go to forest. And there is a lot. Kausalya Mata is giving arguments, and then Lakshmana is giving. Sri Rama says, no, I am going. Sita ji is waiting in her chamber for this day. Why? Because early morning Sri Rama is gone. Now he will return, and then we have to go for coronation. She is waiting, and Bhagavan comes and says like this. Sita ji says, okay, just give me some time. We will be ready. Sri Rama says, ready for what? She says, to go. He says, no, I have to go to forest, not you. Sita ji says, one and the same. You are going to forest means I am going to forest. I cannot stay here. Sri Rama says, no, you see, you are a princess. And it is said that she was brought up in such a lavish, comfortable circumstances. Her feet were so soft that they have never touched stone. That is what is said. And how can I, make you come with me? Sita ji says, see, one thing is, my father, when giving my hand to you in that Pani Grahana, he said that I should follow you like your shadow. Now you are going to forest, I will come to forest. Number one. Number two, when I was a child, there was a prediction about my future that I will have to live in forest for a long time. She says, this is the decision that you have to make now. Do you want me to go to forest alone, or do you want to be there with me to protect me when I am in forest? You take a decision. I have to go to forest because it is there in my prarabdha. The prediction is done long back. If you don't take me with you now, I will have to go alone. Do you want that? Sri Rama doesn't have counter argument for this, and he says, okay, come. By the time they both come out, Lakshmana is already waiting. He says, come, we'll go. He says, no, you should stay here and take care of the father because Bharata and Shatrughna are not there. He says, no. Whatever arguments you said, I listened. Did I say anything? Am I acting against your will? No. Now you don't act against my will. I am coming with you. Don't ask for any questions. Don't ask for anything. I am coming with you. Full stop. So three of them, they decide, and then three of them go to take blessings of Dashrath Maharaj. Dashrath Maharaj, looking at that, he again faints, saying that what is this? Now one son accompanied by another son, also accompanied by my daughter-in-law. Everybody is going to forest. But Kaikeyi has come prepared. She immediately gives 3 sets of clothes to 3 of them to wear. She knows. So you see mantra, how much she has thought. That if Sri Rama goes, Lakshmana will also go, Sita will also go. So already the dress and everything is, dress means that one color, no, special type of made up of bark of the tree, etc. you have to wear, no. Such a scene is there in Valmiki Ramayana that when it is given, Sita ji doesn't know how to wear. Because she has never worn anything like this. Princess she was. Now she was about to become queen. So she is very awkward. And she says to Sri Rama, I don't know. And Sri Rama helps her to tie that entire dress, and Dashrath Maharaj, somehow wakes up and sees that again in them, and then again what is happening? And he actually tells Sri Rama that you should kill me and become the king. It is okay for a Kshatriya not to listen to other Kshatriya and take the kingdom by force. It's allowed. Just like I am going to take another person's kingdom, you kill me and become king. I gave my word, so that Vara is fulfilled. Kaikeyi asked, I gave, Vara fulfilled. You don't have to listen to me. You kill me and become the king. Sri Rama says no. Sri Rama says, in Tulsi Ramayana, the famous line is there, no? That Raghukula Reet Sada Chali Aayi, Prana Jaye par Vachana na jaye. We will give up our life, but we will never go back on our words. It is your words It is my responsibility to uphold your words. Therefore, O king, I won't be able to do that. But he becomes serious and says, please take care of my mother. Kausalya Mata is going to be in deep sorrow when I return from forest. May I not hear that she died out of sorrow. She is taken care well. He comes to Kaikeyi Mata and says, I have no ill feeling towards you at all. Never think that I have any kind of hatred towards you. I know that there is a higher power working in this whole situation. I understand. And therefore, please give me blessings. Please take care of father. Please take care of my mothers. Especially take care of your son. When Bharata comes and he comes to know that you have sent me to forest, he is not going to take it easily. Please take care of him. Saying this, taking permission, he decides to leave. And Sumantra also. And that is the portion now we'll just read I have explained the story. We will see how it is explained in this first chapter. Verse number 23 onwards. Sasatyavachanad Raja
Sasatyavachanad Raja
Dharmapashena Samyataha
Dharmapashena Samyataha
Vivasayamasa Sutam
Vivasayamasa Sutam
Ramam Dasharatha Priyam
Ramam Dasharatha Priyam
Sajagamavanam Veeraha
Sajagamavanam Veeraha
Pratijñāmanupālayan
Pratijñāmanupālayam
Piturvachana Nirdeshat
Piturvachana Nirdeshat
Kaikeyaः Priyakaranaat
Kaikeyaः Priyakaranat
Tamrajantam Priyo Bhrata
Tamrajantam Priyo Brata
Lakshmano Nujagamaha
Lakshmano Nujagamaha
Snehadvinaya Sampannaha
Snehadvinaya Sampannaha
Sumitranandavardhanaha
Sumitranandavardhanaha
Bhrataram Dayito Bhratuhu
Bhratarandaito Bhratuhu
Saubhratramanudarshayan
Saubhratramanudarshayan
Ramasya Dayita Bharya
Ramasya Daita Bharya
Nityam Prana Samahita
Nityam Prana Samahita
Janakasya Kule Jata
Janakasya Kule Jata
Devamayeva Nirmita
Devamayeva Nirmita
Sarvalakshana Sampanna
Sarvalakshana Sampana
Narinam Uttamavadhuhu
Narina Muttama Vadhuhu
Sitapyanugata Ramam
Sitapyanugata Raman
Shashinam Rohini Yatha
Sashinam Rohini Yatha
Paurairanugато Duram
Paurairanagato Duram
Pitra Dasharathena cha
Pitra Dasharathena cha
Saha Raja Satyavachanat Dharmapashena Samyataha Dasharatha Priyam Sutam Ramam Vivasayamasa. Vivasayamasa gave him Vanavasa. Who? Dasharatha. Dasharatha. Who is that? Raja. The king Dasharatha decided to send Sri Rama to Vanavasa. Why? Dharmapashena Samyataha. Bound by the pasha, by the ropes of dharma. Is bound by dharma, Satyavachanat, to make his words true. He decided, Priyam Sutam Ramam, most dear son of him, Sri Rama, Vivasayamasa. He sent him for Vanavasa. Saha Veeraha. Now that Veeraha, Ramaha, Pratijñām Anupālayan, Kaikeyaha Priyakaranat, Pituhu Vachana Nirdeshat, Vanam Jagama. Saha Veeraha. Now that Veera, Sri Rama, Pratijñām Anupālayan, to follow Pratijñā. Pratijñā means declaration, pledge. Here it means words of his father. To follow that, Kaikeyaha Priyakaranat. Beautiful adjective. In order to make how do you say in English? To make Kaikeyi get what she likes. Very complicated in English, but in Sanskrit it is very easy. Kaikeyaha priya karanat. In order to do that, Pituhu vachana nirdeshat, following the words of father, Vanam jagama, he went to forest. Tam vrajantam, to that Sri Rama who was going, Bhrataram, Priya Bharata Lakshmana Anujagama. Lakshmana followed. Anu means following. Anujagama. So Sahajagama, Lakshmana Anujagama. See the verbs. So Sri Rama went to forest, Lakshmana followed. Why? Snehat, out of love. And also Vinaya Sampannaha. Lakshmana is endowed with humility. He doesn't mind, taking difficulty for Sri Rama. Sumitra Anandavardhana, and he is also he is the one who increases the joy of Sumitra. There are so many scenes are there, in between. We don't have time enough, where the Lakshmana goes and meets Sumitra. Actually, overall sad for the situation, but for Lakshmana's decision, she is very happy. And she says, you are true son. You have taken right decision of accompanying Sri Rama. Please take care of him. Then Lakshmana goes and meets his wife also, Urmila, and asks, tells that, so Urmila says, so I will also come. Lakshmana is going, Sitaji is going with Sri Rama, so I will also come. He says, no, you should stay here and take care of all three mothers and of father, because they are now old and nobody is here. I will have tension if you come with me, because there is nobody at home. So if you are there at home, I will go there and I will be able to serve Sri Rama properly without thinking about what is happening at home. So she listens and she says, yes, I will do that. So many such stories are there in between. But Bhratuhu Daitaha, dear brother of Sri Rama, Bhrataram Saubhratram Anudarshan, demonstrating how a true brother relationship is, demonstrating that he also followed. And then what? Ramasya Daita Bharya, Daita Priya, the dear wife of Sri Rama, Nityam Prana Samahita, who is like Prana Sama, who is like Prana for Sri Rama, Sita Api Anugata. Sita also followed Ramam Anugata. She also followed Sri Rama. Like what? Rohini Shashinam Yatha. Just like Rohini follows Shashi. Shashi is Indra. Rohini is wife of Indra. How she goes? Rohini is actually Chandra. What did I say? Indra. No. Chandra. So it is actually Rohini is like the Prabha, is the light of the moon. So wherever moon is there, the light is there, isn't it? So like that, Rohini Shashinam Yatha. Just like that, Sita ji also followed Sri Rama. Who is that Sita ji? Because the backstory is not told. So he mentions here, Janakasya Kule Jata, one who was born in Janaka's Kula. Deva Maya Iva Nirmita. She is not born like a child, but she just appeared like Deva Maya. Sarva Lakshana Sampanna, endowed with all the virtues and all the features. Nari Vadhu, among all the women, the best kind of wife. She also followed Sri Rama. Not only Lakshmana and Sita ji followed, Pauraihi Anugataha Duram, all the citizens of Ayodhya, Pauraihi Anugataha Ramaha. So they all followed Sri Rama. Duram, for far. Pitra Dasharathena cha. Even Dasharatha kept following. So Sumantra, who is the charioteer, he has taken Sri Rama, Lakshmana and Sita to drop them till the end of the city, so that there onwards Vanvasa can start. So this Ratha is followed by all these people. All of them are following Ratha, including Dasharath Maharaj, who can't even walk, who is falling, then again getting up and again following that, and go on and on and on. All of them follow. Then they go a little far. And actually, again, there are so many stories. There is a Guha Guha is Nishadaraj. Guha is a character who is Nishad. Nishad is a kind of how do you say, a Brahmana when marries to a lower caste. Their children, the Suta they are called. When this cross caste children are born, one of them is this Nishada. One category is Nishada, and this Guha is the Nishad Raja. He is the front of that entire place, and he is just outside next on the other shore of Sharayu. He is there, and that entire kingdom belongs to him. So he welcomes Sri Rama and takes care of him, Lakshmana, Sitaji, Sumantra, and all the people who have accompanied. And he takes care and makes sure that everything is there. Very beautiful portion is there where at night Sitaji and Sri Rama are sleeping on the ground. So Lakshmana says that I cannot sleep. If Bhagwan is sleeping on the ground, I should go underground and sleep. It's better I will not sleep only. So he stands as guard, and then Guha comes there, and they have a very beautiful conversation, and they are remembering what all things must be happening there back in Ayodhya, and how I don't know how Sitaji is going to manage this entire forest, 14 years of Vanvasa, how she is going to manage. Like this, they spend the entire night discussing and feeling sad for how the situation has turned. And Sri Rama, what he does is he calls Sumantra early in the morning, and he says that before everyone wakes up, we have to go, otherwise they will come to forest also with me. So what he does is, and not only that, he says that you first take the chariot on one side, go a little far, come back from other side, and then take me. So that when they will get up, they will see Ratha going in one direction. We will not meet you here, we will meet you somewhere, we will walk, so that there are no Ratha marks of the chariot on this track, and they will follow that, and they will come back here, and they will return. And Sumantra does exactly like that. Sri Rama, Lakshmana, and Sitaji, he drops them up to Gangaji, and this Guha has actually made sure that boat etc. is there to cross Gangaji, and that takes Sri Rama, Lakshmana, Sita on the other side. Sri Rama looks back at Shringaverapura and Kosaladesha and Ayodhya etc., prostrates and says that, oh, you are also like my mother. Janmabhoomi is like mother. May I get chance again to see you? And saying this, they enter into the forest. That is what is said in the next portion. Let us read the verses. Shringaverapure sutam
Shringabherapure sutam
Ganga kule vyasarjayat
Gangakule vyasarjayat
Guhamasadya dharmatma
Guhamasadya dharmatma
Nishadadhipatim priyam
Nishadadhipatim priyam
Guhena sahito Ramaha
Guhena sahito Ramaha
Lakshmanena cha Sitaya
Lakshmanena cha Sitaya
Devanena vanam gatva
Devanena vanam gatva
Nadistirtva bahudakaha
Nadistirtva bahudakaha
Chitrakutamanu
Chitrakutamanu
Bharadvajasya shasanat
Bharadvajasya shasanat
Ramyamavasatham kritva
Ramyamavasatham kritva
Ramamanavanetrayah
Ramamanavanetryah
Devagandharva sankashaha
Devagandharva sankashaha
Tatra te nyavasan sukham.
Tatra te nyavasam sukham.
Up to here is one section. What is said? Shringaverapure Gangakule, on the banks of Gangaji. So between Gangaji and Sharayu is this kingdom of Guha. Dharmatma, Ramaha, this Dharmatma, Nishadadipatim Priyam Guham Asadya, accompanied by this Guha who is very dear and who is Nishada Adipatim, king of these Nishadas, Vyasa, Sutam Vyasarjayat. Sutam here means Sumantram. Sumantram Vyasarjayat. He left Sumantra behind. Means what? Left the track of all the other villagers also, and went, only 3 of them went ahead. Guhena Sahitah Ramaha Lakshmanena cha Sitaya Tetrayah. Now te trayah, now those three, Sri Rama, Lakshmana and Sita, vanena vanam gatva, from going from one forest to other, bahudakaha nadihi, many rivers, nadihi, dvitiya bahuvachan, bahudakaha, very many rivers crossing over them, Chitrakutam anuprapya, they reached Chitrakuta, Bharadwajasya Shasanat, as told by Bharadwaja Rishi. So the story goes like this, that after meeting Guha, now Sri Rama, Sita and Lakshmana, they go to Bharadwaja Rishi's ashrama. And actually Sumantra is also there with them, Guha is also there with them, and Bharadwaja Rishi welcomes them and takes care of all the people, and then says that, you know, you must, if you have to stay in forest, you must stay in this Chitrakuta. There is a very beautiful mountain, Chitrakuta. Under, you know, around that, there is a beautiful place to stay. Please go there and stay. So listening to them, now they go to Chitrakuta. Chitrakuta is even now Chitrakuta, the same Chitrakuta, which is now on the, what we say, boundary of Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand and Madhya Pradesh, isn't it? That is the Chitrakuta mountain. So from there they come back. So they have to cross Gangaji, you know, from Ayodhya they have to cross Ganga, Sharayu, Gangaji and everything, and then they go to this Chitrakuta. Now, how is that? Ramyam, Ramamanaha, Vane Ramamanaha, Ramyam Avasatam, you know, very beautiful place they start to stay. And accompanied by so many rishis are there staying in and around that forest area. Nyavasat Sukham. Sukham Nyavasan. They were staying very comfortably. That is what happened with it. Now here in Ayodhya, what happened? So that is what is said now. Let us read. Chitrakutam gate rame.
Chitrakutan gate rame.
Putra shoka turastada.
Putra shoka turastatha.
Raja Dasharatha swargam.
Raja Dasharatha swargam.
Jagama vilapan sutam.
Jagama vilapan sutam.
Here what happened? Rame, Chitrakutam gate rame. When Sri Rama went to this Chitrakuta, here what happened? Putra shoka turaha, Putra shoka aturaha, afflicted or having sorrow because of separation from his son, Raja Dasharatha vilapan, sutam vilapan. He is crying because of his separation from the son. Swargam jagama, he departed to heaven, means he died. Now of course there are again, you know, lot of stories in between where Dashrath Maharaj is now in Kausalya's that place, and Sumitra is also there, and he's crying and he's saying all this is because of me, and then he tells a flashback story when Dashrath Maharaj was not married to anyone, Kausalya, Sumitra, etc. Once he had gone to forest for hunting, and that time he had learnt a new technique called listening and shooting an arrow. Shabda Bedi Astra. So he is not seeing because it is dark, but just by listening to the sound, he can shoot the arrow. So he heard the sound of water near one place, and therefore he thought that some animal is drinking water, and without seeing, he shot an arrow, and it was actually one young boy who was collecting water for his parents. We know in Valmiki Ramayana there is no name given. Okay, so Shravana, etc., what we hear must be from other Ramayanas. In Valmiki Ramayana there is no name given of that boy, but he was collecting, and he was actually, there is no such entire story that he was taking them to Kashi, etc. In other Ramayanas that story is there, that both his parents were blind and he was carrying them, you know, to, it's there, it's very much there, and they were very tired, so he kept them at one place and then went to fetch water, and at that time he was killed. But just when he heard, when Dashrath Maharaj shot an arrow, he shouted. So Dashrath Maharaj also understood that it's not an animal that I have killed. So he immediately went there and saw that he is actually by mistake killed a boy, and that boy, you know, before dying, says that please take water for my parents. They will be waiting for me. They will not know what has happened. So Dashrath Maharaj takes water for both the parents of this young boy, and they are trying to talk. You have come, why did you take such a long time, etc. He is not replying because he is very sad. He doesn't know what to reply. But finally, when he speaks, he says that I am Dashratha, I am the prince here, and then this is by mistake, this is what happened. And they become so sad, and that father curses Dashratha, saying that how I am going to die because of putra viyoga, because of my separation from my son. You will also die one day of putra viyoga. So he remembers this, he tells this to Kausalya, this is what has happened, and now I am going to die. And saying this, he actually dies. Now, there is another very interesting story that I have heard in another Ramayana. It is said that this story of Dashrath Maharaj killing that boy and getting that shrapa is known to Kaikeyi, because Kaikeyi's dearest wife, you see. So things that he has not told Kausalya also he has told to Kaikeyi. And Kaikeyi's love for Sri Rama is so high that she says putra viyoga can happen in two ways. Either putra is far from father or putra dies. I cannot let Sri Rama die. I better send him far. Why? Because that is the shrapa that Dashrath Maharaj has got. He is going to get putra viyoga and he is going to die. Now, let that not be because of death of Sri Rama. One interesting story I have heard. Okay. Now, it's not in Valmiki Ramayana, I accept, but it is a nice story. Why? Because it goes in line with how much love Kaikeyi had. So, interpretations are always good. But what happened? Because of putra viyoga, because of separation from his son, Dashrath Maharaj couldn't take it and he gave up the body. Even now, Bharata Shatrugna have not returned because all this happened in one day. They don't even know. So Vasishtha immediately calls everybody, says that before news goes out, send people to Kekaya Desha and without telling anything, just get them. Don't tell them anything. Why? Because right now the kingdom is without the king. This is the time neighboring kingdoms may attack. So better we get the king. Somebody should be here. So messengers are sent and Bharata and Shatrugna are there. Bharata Shatrugna don't know what has happened. So they return, and again, beautiful description is there, how they see all the bad omens while they are returning. And when they see Ayodhya also, everybody is in sorrow. They don't understand what has happened. And they have heard one messenger was sent that he is going to become, Sri Rama is going to become crown prince. So that is the last thing that they have heard. They don't know what has happened afterwards. And they come and then they see that everybody is, so Bharata straight away goes to meet his mother, and Kaikeyi is still, in a different zone. She is not crying for Dashrath Maharaj at all. She is very happy that Bharata has returned, and he says that actually, she tells that Sri Rama has gone to forest and you will become king. Now Bharata starts asking different kinds of questions. Very beautiful portion is there in Valmiki Ramayana. Again, he says what mistake Sri Rama did for which he is sent to forest, because generally he must have done something. He should have gone to forest, but I can't imagine Sri Rama doing any mistake. So he actually enumerates that he won't do that. No, he won't do that. So he is talking to himself and he's trying to find sense of this entire situation and trying to think why Sri Rama is sent to forest. And when he comes to know that Kaikeyi asked for these two boons and to make him king, Sri Rama has gone to forest. He gets uncontrollably angry at his mother and he says, what kind of person you are? And you have put this entire blame on me. I don't even want to see your face. I am not going to talk to you. You are dead to me. This is what he says. And he immediately leaves and goes to Kausalya Mata's place. That is where he comes to know that father has died. He doesn't even know that. Then he starts to cry. He falls at Kausalya Mata's feet and says that, all this is because of me. I know you will never be able to forgive me. Plus, but please, we have to do something now because father is dead. My elder brother is not here. Both brothers are not here and we don't know what is to be done. So he is just crying. Vasishtha Rishi comes there, tries to console him and say that it's okay, we will do something. He says, no. Immediately we should leave for forest. We have to get Sri Rama back. I will, there is no question of me becoming king at all. That I am not going to accept in any you want to do. King for me is Sri Rama, and for me he will always remain king. Better we go there and get him back. So saying this, actually Vasishtha Rishi is so happy inside, looking at everybody's goodness. See, sometimes goodness is overwhelming. This is such situation. You look, every single person is thinking about other person. Sometimes we don't understand it because we are too insensitive to understand all these things. We are so selfish that we cannot even think how these people were. See, every single person is thinking about other. If we see further, when that whole thing is happening, Sri Rama is thinking about Kaikeyi. And he says she will be the most hated person right now. And first thing that he says to Bharata also is, you should not be angry towards your mother. He says all other things don't matter at all. This is something that you should not do. Every single person is thinking about. So Bharata somehow convinces and says that now we should go. And they take the chariot. But Bharata says, the chariot is not for me. Chariot is to bring Sri Rama back. So chariot will go empty. I will walk behind the chariot. And he starts walking behind the chariot with Shatrughna and Vasishtha Rishi, and separate Ratha is there, chariot is there for the three mothers. And they all start to go to the forest to bring him back. That portion now let us read. Gate tu tasmin bharatah Vasishtha pramukhair dvijaihi niyojyamano rajyaya
नियुज्यमानो राजाय
नैच्छद्राज्यं महाबलः
नैच्छद्राजन्महाबलः
सजगामवनं वीरः
सजगामवनं वीरः
रामपादप्रसादकः
रामपादप्रसादकः
गत्वा तु समहात्मानं
गत्वा तु समहात्मानं
रामं सत्यपराक्रमम्
सत्यपराक्रमम्
अयाचद्भ्रातरं रामम्
अयाचाद्भ्रातरं रामम्
आर्यभावपुरस्कृतः
आर्यभावपुरस्कृतः
त्वमेव राजा धर्मज्ञः
त्वमेव राजा धर्मज्ञः
इति रामं वचो ब्रवीत्.
इति रामं वचो ब्रवीत्.
When Bharata came back, that is what is said. Vasishtha pramukhaihi dvijaihi niyojyamanaha rajyaya rajyam na ayalaha veeraha bharataha vanam jagama, went to the forest to get Sri Rama back. Rama pada prasadaka, see the Visheshana used, one who is desirous of blessings or grace of Sri Rama's feet. Why? Because he is going to get padukas, no? So that's why this Visheshana is given. He went to the forest. Gattva. So actually, again, that entire scene is very beautiful. That he is going now. When everybody comes to know that Bharata is going to get Sri Rama back, all of them are accompanied. So now when Guha sees them coming, he says, why is Bharata coming? Is he planning to kill Sri Rama in the forest and remain king forever? So he says, first we should find out. So what he does is, he doesn't wait for them to cross the river, the Sharayu river. He crosses the river and asks, first, what is your purpose? Why? Then only I will allow you to cross. But then when he understands that, when he even says this doubt, Bharata says, you see what is my fate. People are thinking like this about me now, that I am going to kill my own brother. But this is the fate that I have to accept, because this is something that has happened because of me, because my mother wanted me to become king. He accepts, he goes further. Now when they reach near Bharadwaja ashram, Bharadwaja again suspects the same thing and asks. And Bharata doesn't have answer. So Bharadwaja Rishi says, I know you are a noble, but it is my duty to ask. Therefore I am asking. I know you are not going. So somehow they are taken care, and then again further when they are going, Lakshmana sees. Lakshmana again suspects that, Bharata is coming. I think Sri Rama, we should prepare for war. Sri Rama says, what are you saying? You see how they all are perceiving and how Bhagavan perceives. Sri Rama says, I know exactly why Bharata is coming. Bharata is coming to get me back. You are right, we should prepare, but not for war. I should prepare to remain strong on my dharma. Look at that. He says, correct, we should prepare, but not for war. And when they come, there is a Bharat Milapa under the Chitrakuta, and Bharatji comes and Sri Rama is there, and he just falls at Bhagavan's feet. He just says one word, brother. That's the only thing that Bharata can utter. He crying continuously. Sri Rama consoles him, and just to change his mood, starts asking different questions about Praja. Beautiful chapter is there called Kachit Sarga or Kachit Gita. Kachit means is it like this? Is it like this? And that entire chapter actually becomes means for study of the people of how to govern. Because he is asking every single thing. Are those people happy? Are you making sure? Are you getting up early? Are you giving time to discuss with spies? Are there spies in all the kingdoms? All the neighboring kingdoms? Are there ministers who disguise themselves as common beings and go and talk to people? Are people's complaints heard by you? Are you giving enough time? Series of questions he is asking. Bharata doesn't answer even one question. Bharata listens to the entire chapter. At the end of it, he says, why are you asking these questions to me? I am not the ruler. These questions are right for the ruler. I am not the ruler. I have not accepted the crown till now. Then Sri Rama starts asking how his father. Sri Rama doesn't know. Dasharatha has died. So he asks how his father. Now again, Bharata doesn't know how to speak. So by not speaking only, Sri Rama understands that something has happened. Mothers also are there, and then they tell Sri Rama, listening to the fact that Dasharatha has died, Sri Rama falls unconscious, doesn't know what is happening. Vasishtha Rishi comes, consoles. Bharata wakes him up and says that you must do Tarpana, the karma, etc. because you are eldest son. So then he does all that and does the actually Shraddha Pindadana, etc. he does. And then now again the discussion begins. He says, Tvameva Raja Dharmanyah iti Ramam Vachah Abravit. Bharata says to Sri Rama, you are the king. I am not the king. You are the eldest brother. Whatever has happened, but you should come back and accept the kingdom. Now starts the entire arguments and counter arguments. Let us read the verses, then we will see the meaning. Ramopi paramodaraha.
Ramopi paramodaraha.
Sumukha sumahayashaha.
Sumukha sumahayashaha.
Nachaichat pituradeshat.
Nachaichat pituradeshat.
Rajyam Ramo Mahabalaha.
Rajam Ramo Mahabalaha.
Paduke chasya rajyaya.
Paduke chasya rajaya.
Nyasam dattva punah.
Nyasam dattva punah.
Nivartayamasa tataha.
Nivartayamasa tataha.
Bharatam bharatagrajaha.
Bharatam jaha.
Sakama manavapyaiva.
Sakama manavapyaiva.
Ramapada upasprashan.
Ramapada upasprishan.
Nandigrame karodrajyam.
नन्दिग्रामे करोद्रज्यम्
रामागमनकाङ्क्षया
रामागमनकाङ्क्षया
गते तु भरते श्रीमान्
गते तु भरते श्रीमान्
सत्यसन्धो जितेन्द्रियः
सत्यसन्धो जितेन्द्रियः
रामस्तु पुनरालक्ष्य
रामस्तु पुनरालक्ष्य
नागरस्य जनस्य च
नागरस्य जनस्य च
तत्रागमनमेकाग्रः
तत्रागमनमेकाग्रः
दण्डकान् प्रविवेशः.
दण्डकान् प्रविवेशः.
Now start the arguments. Each one is interpreting this entire situation and is telling what is to be done. Again, in Valmiki Ramayana, long arguments are there. Bharata says that, you see, father gave words, but father is no more. So now those words don't matter, you come back. There are other kings who have also accompanied, neighboring kingdoms who are, their friends. They to give different kind of counter arguments that why you should be there. There are people who are saying that you are the eldest son, therefore you should become. In one place, Vasishtha Rishi also says that, you see, the words of father should be followed. I agree. And the words were that you should go for forest for 14 years. Without you, every day is 1 year for us. So actually, we have already lived 14 years without you. So the words are completed. You please come back. Vasishtha Rishi, who knows Dharma, is saying. But this is where Sri Rama says, you see, Ramaha api paramodaraha. Parama udaraha. Very much udara. Udara means one who gives. Sumukhaha. Sumahayashaha. His yasha, his fame is not just like that. Why is his fame so much? In another place in Valmiki Ramayana, it is said, Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. Maricha is actually who is saying this. Ramo Vigrahavan Dharmaha. Means what? Rama is Dharma taken form. Why? Because Sri Rama has not followed Dharma. Sri Rama has raised the standard of Dharma. Please note this point. There are many kings who have followed Dharma. But why Sri Rama is best among them? Among all the things that can be done according to Dharma, that standard itself is raised by Sri Rama so much that everybody falls short. Everything that all the other people are saying that according to Dharma only. But he tells Parama Dharma. He raised standard of Dharma. That's why Sri Rama is so great. And he says, no. Father's words are father's words. And I will not come back. Then one middle path is found. This is actually already thought by Bharata, because Bharata also knows Sri Rama. See, this is the love. Bharata knows that Sri Rama will not accept, but it is my duty and I have to go and convince, otherwise I won't be at peace. But he knows, therefore he has brought Bhagavan's Paduka. Paduka is his sandals, which are golden plated. And he says, please keep your feet on this and I will keep these Padukas on the crown. He is not telling, give me your Padukas, because he has to go to forest. See, Bharata is not insensitive enough to take the Padukas so that Bhagavan has to walk barefoot in the forest. No, he's brought the Padukas and says, you please keep your feet on this and I will take them back and keep them on the crown. I will not rule, but I will, what we say, ruler in charge. I will not be a ruler. Instead of you, I will take care of the kingdom. You see, Paduke chasya rajjaya nyasam. So giving these Padukas, Dattva punah nivartayamasa Bharatam. Bharatagrajaha, Sri Ramaha. Again and again he had to tell Bharata, saying that please go back now. And giving these Padukas, he made sure that Bharata returned. But you see, Saha, Bharataha, Kamam anavapya eva. His wish is not fulfilled. He wanted Sri Rama to come back. Rama Padav apasprishan. Just keeping, touching Sri Rama's Padukas, keeping them on his head, he returns. He keeps these Padukas on the crown. Nandigrame akarod rajyam. Rama Agamana Kangsha. Nandigrama is the place outside Ayodhya, the village. It is said that because Sri Rama is going to stay in forest and going to sleep, Bharata actually creates a pit inside and stays there for 14 years. He doesn't stay in the palace. And like a employee, he comes to the palace, does all the whatever managing has to be done of the kingdom, goes back and stays in Nandigrama, where Sri Rama is going to come. And while taking Padukas, he takes a promise from Sri Rama. He says, 14 years, Bhagavan, you have given me this job of taking care of your kingdom, 14 years. One day extra if you take, you will see my dead body. I will not be able to live one day more than 14 years. 14 years I will live because that is my duty. You have given me duty to take care of the kingdom. For that much time I will be alive. One day more you take, coming back from forest, I will not be alive. Look at Bharata's love. It doesn't even stay there in the palace. It stays underground. That is Sri Rama. Gate tu Bharate, when Bharata returns, Shriman Satyasandha Jitendriya Sri Rama, this Sri Rama, Ramastu Punaha Alaksha. Now what happens is, because this place is now known to people, that Bhagavan is staying in Chitrakuta, so people keep coming. Nagarasya Janasya. So all the Nagarvasis, they keep coming because they can't stay away from Sri Rama. So they, by some reason or other, they keep going to meet Sri Rama. He says that this is not the right way. Tatra Agamanam Ekagraha Dandakan Pravivesha. And so he goes further and enters into Dandakaranya. This is where the Ayodhya Kanda is completed and Aranya Kanda begins. Great are these people, great is the story. May we also get some good qualities of Bharata, of Lakshmana, of Guha, of Vasishtha Rishi, of all these people. By Sri Rama's grace, may we also have that much love for Bhagavan. Let us conclude for today. Continue next session tomorrow. Maruti,
Maruti, Gambhira Maruti,
Veera Maruti, Ati Dhira Maruti,
Dhira Maruti, Ati Dhira Maruti,
Geeta Maruti, Sangeeta Maruti,
Geeta Maruti, Sangeeta Maruti,
Dhuta Maruti, Rama Dhuta Maruti,
Dhuta Maruti, Dhuta Maruti,
Dhuta Maruti, Rama Dhuta Maruti,
Dhuta Maruti, Dhuta Maruti,
Bhakta Maruti, Parama Bhakta 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 Maruti,
Veera Maruti, Gambhira Maruti,
Veera Maruti, Gambhira Maruti,
Gambhira Maruti,
Gambhira Maruti,
Gambhira Maruti,
Gambhira Maruti.
Syavar Ramachandra ki, Pavan Sutta Hanuman ki, Umapati Mahadeva ki, Bolo Bhai Sab Santan ki, Sadgurunath Maharaj ki. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।